Auckland FC defeats Sydney with a dramatic late winner. Auckland FC have made the perfect start to life in the A-League. 2 wins from 2, and after round 2, they will sit top of the A-League men's ladder. There's so much to talk about with this team, so much excitement, and this result is huge. We'll be talking about this match heading into this round as the one to watch, 2 teams who had picked up victories in round 1. And it was going to be a really sort of fascinating matchup to see where both sides were at. Sydney FC, a lot of expectation on them this year to have a really strong season. But this was the big game for Auckland. If they could get the result from this game, then that, shows that they are well and truly the real deal just a couple matches into their existence. Looking at the lineups into this game, I mean, for Sydney FC, there were a couple of big outs, which certainly affected things for them. Douglas Costa ruled out of this match. A hamstring issue. Apparently it's not too serious, so hopefully it doesn't rule him out for too long, but not risked in this match. Also, Sydney FC were coming off that midweek football. They were over in Japan on Wednesday evening. And then through this match as well, Sydney FC struggling with injuries, both Joe Lolly and Corey Holman coming off earlier than expected. And that certainly affected things for Sydney FC. It was a real test for them because they brought on, there were sort of a number of players changing positions at times. Anthony Caceres played pretty much 3 different positions throughout this match. Segacic came on and he hasn't had too many minutes so far this season. And the Sky Blues overall actually played a pretty good game. I thought they were pretty dangerous throughout this match, created some great opportunities. As did Auckland though. It was a fascinating game where it was sort of back and forth in terms of who was dominating the play at certain times. And we could have easily had a goal in that first half. There were some fantastic opportunities. Guillermo May was once again lively for Auckland FC, having a number of shots throughout this match. And for Sydney FC, Patrick Lamala was looking dangerous as well. Really loved that midfield play from Sydney FC. They had some really nice passages of play with Waheem and Senna linking up. 2 players who actually had really, really good games tonight for Sydney FC. And overall, I mean, despite this being a loss for Sydney in the end, they were arguably the better team today. You could probably make an argument for that. Look, a tightly contested match, and Sydney thought they had the winner at the end. Hayden Matthews putting the ball in the back of the net. Ruled offside, Patrick Lamala in an offside position, a big call from the VAR. And that sort of, gave the momentum to Auckland FC. And in the dying minutes of injury time, all that momentum was with them and they capitalised right at the end. Nando Painaka, who had a fantastic game. Auckland FC so solid in defence and Painaka was central to that. And then just that little back heel to get it past Andrew Redmayne, and it did cross the line. And just fantastic scenes. Seeing Auckland again with another incredible turnout. The Port was fantastic in this game. And this is now 2 wins from 2 for Auckland FC. But what they're doing so well, Auckland, there's so many positives to talk about, and a lot of credit does have to go to head coach Steve Corica, who, of course, former Sydney FC head coach coming up against his former team in this game. But Steve Corica playing this 4-2-3-1 formation that is just working so well for them at the moment. They've got players all across the pitch who are really, really good at playing their roles. In midfield, Verstrate and Gejagos were working so hard in this game, so physical. There were many battles and fouls throughout this entire contest. But that defensive setup for Auckland is looking really, really strong this early on as well. That back 4 of Sakai, Dan Hall, Painaka, and then at left back, De Vries, who again had a really, really good game tonight as well. We saw Alex Paulson make a number of crucial saves throughout this game as well. And we knew that he was going to be tested a lot more. He was relatively quiet last week against Brisbane, but he was called into action a handful of times throughout this match and always, is capable of pulling out a great save, Alex Paulson. But ahead of that going forward as well, I mean, Liam Gillian with his pace on that left wing, so dangerous. As we mentioned, Guillermo May, always lively going forward. What he provides, I love what May provides in terms of the movement that he makes, across that front third, providing different options, drawing central defenders out. He's going to be a really, really dangerous player for Auckland this season. We did see a change as well for Auckland in their setup. Cam Howison was starting in this game ahead of Jake Brimmer, but Jake Brimmer came on in the second half and had that impact in the end, delivering that late free kick for Auckland's goal, and Logan Rogerson on that right-hand side for Auckland. But this team, they look, it's just quite phenomenal how well-oiled and how well-organised they are, considering they're just 2 games into their competitive season here in the A-League. And I'm really fascinated to see how the likes of, now Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City, the other top teams in the competition, how are they going to go against this Auckland FC team, especially Auckland at home? It's going to be really, really fascinating. And next week, I mean, Auckland look ahead to a derby match against Wellington Phoenix, which is shaping up to be a really, really exciting matchup. Wellington with a good 2-0 win against Perth Glory this weekend. And of course, the Phoenix, well, they'll be the home side in this game. So really, really crucial game next week, Wellington, Auckland. So for Auckland FC, I think, you know, they've sort of shown everyone now that they are going to be the real deal this season. And there was a lot of conjecture in terms of how Auckland will go in this first season. It seemed like the general consensus on average is that most people weren't expecting Auckland to make finals, you know, first season in their existence, you know, maybe put in a decent season, but not quite enough to challenge towards the top. Credit to them, man, for building a phenomenal team for their first season, for bringing in a great head coach in Steve Corica, and now taking down teams like Sydney FC, you know, and especially in a game like this where they really, really had to dig deep, because Sydney had some really good passages of play in this game, and they had to stay organised defensively, stay switched on, and it paid off for them in the end to get that winner right at the death there. And that does so much for, I think, for the confidence of the team, knowing that they can put in these gutsy performances where they have to do quite a lot of defending. Again, don't get me wrong, Auckland had plenty of chances throughout this game, but they had to do plenty of defending and really sort of marshal these dangerous Sydney FC attackers and get the goal in the end. It's going to give them so much sort of, it's just a boost throughout this season. I think the camaraderie in this Auckland team is already building really, really well. So an exciting win for Auckland. Again, just fantastic scenes, seeing the celebrations over there at Auckland. You look at their upcoming matches, and this is where it looks really, really interesting for Auckland FC. Obviously, as we just mentioned, the matchup against Wellington next week is going to be the big one for Auckland FC, and hopefully a massive turnout down in Wellington for that one. But after that, they have MacArthur FC in Unite round. That will be an interesting matchup, because you look at the Bulls, and obviously, you know, they had that incredible win in round one, but lost to Newcastle Jets this past round. Then they have another couple home games. They've got Jets at home, which Auckland will look at as a winnable game. And then another matchup against Wellington Phoenix at home on the 7th of December before travelling away to Melbourne City. And the other thing, when you look at their fixtures, is that they've got a real good run of home games, Auckland FC, across like their first 10 fixtures of the season, which is obviously great to sort of get, you know, the fans on board with the club. You want to get them playing their home games, establish that fan base at home. But that's going to really help Auckland FC, I think, in the early stages of this season to build some momentum with all of these home games. So they'll be looking at those matches. Obviously, Wellington's an interesting one. But MacArthur FC, Jets, especially hosting Wellington Phoenix, potentially all winnable games for Auckland FC. And ultimately, I think this match today showed us that Auckland are probably capable of beating anyone on their day. I think they are. I think they've got the players to do it. They've established a really strong squad. There's still a handful of players who aren't even, you know, we haven't even seen yet, the likes of Joey Champness, new signing Moreno as well. So there's still, you know, maybe a few more pieces to this Auckland puzzle that still have to come in. And Steve Corica's job is now managing all these talented players in this new look side. So Auckland FC, what do you guys make of them? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, because after these two performances, I mean, just really, really impressive. 2 wins. And we should mention as well, not conceding a goal, which is just incredible. Defensively, so solid, Auckland FC. And we'll see how long they can keep this up for. But they are top of the table after just a couple weeks into this A-League Men's 2024-25 season. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in to this little chat about Auckland FC and their matchup against Sydney FC, which ended 1-0, late goal to Neto Pinaka in the end. Hit the like button on the way out. Make sure to stay subscribed for more A-League content. My name's Lockie. This is Coastwood Football, and I'll see you in the next one.